What is your disability?
My disability is Treacher syndrome, which is like a range of things, like mitria, which is underdeveloped ears, and means I have to wear like bone-anchored hearing aids, and it also like means I have like a small jaw, and which is like basically I have no chin. When I was born, I didn't have, I had a bone in my nose, and so it was kind of fatal, but I had a surgery for it. So, yeah.
I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a genetic connective tissue disorder.
Yeah.
So my bones don't stay in their sockets very well. They dislocate often. And I have another condition which is kind of as a result of that, called Postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, or POTS for short. And basically I black out or get on the verge of blacking out fairly frequently, and my heart rate fluctuates a lot, and sometimes it goes up to like 200 just from walking about, which isn't normal.
So what do you think of the word disability, and is there a better word?
I think it's a word, and there has to be a word to describe what it is.
Yeah.
And like often people will change the word that they're using to refer to a set of conditions because it becomes derogatory over time. But whether you call someone a person with a disability or a disabled person doesn't change what they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'd say like like people try and like say like, oh, that's not the right word, but it's just like how you like interpret it, like, because once a lot of people like once they hear like someone's got a disability, it's like they're like less than who they are. But and they try to change it that they're like set back, but it's about you and how you like think of that person,
And like I've seen people try and think of it as by the condition, but different conditions affect people in different ways. So even a group of people with one condition, some might be really badly affected by it and consider themselves disabled, and others might not. So I think it really depends on the person and whether they want to identify as disabled or not. Do you worry about being judged for your disability?
For me, I used to, but then I thought that like it's like I'm always going to have it, so why should I think about what other people think of me? And like for a long time, I thought like that people look at me differently, don't like me, that kind of thing. But I thought that actually like having this disability, as I said, it's unique, and like when I talk about it, it's like it makes me feel knowledgeable and like I'm not like unintelligible. I know what I'm talking about. I know, and so when I like if people look at me different now, I kind of say like oh, this is my disability. This is just like you shouldn't be like afraid of it.
Yeah, I think most of my worries about being judged come from worrying that people will think I'm faking it, because I don't look disabled. I look fairly healthy unless I'm wearing braces on my joints. What is and isn't a disability?
It can vary, I'd say. It's something that you need to overcome, but like sometimes it's a very small barrier and sometimes it's quite big. I guess, like, what do you think?
It's a really tricky question, like what actually counts as a disability. And I think we should spend less time trying to figure out what counts as a disability and more time just accepting that people are different and they might need help.
Exactly. Like I always think of it like a lot of people are like there's like lots of people have like different diet requirements, right?
Yeah.
Like some people are vegan, some people are vegetarian, and then some people like love meat and that kind of thing. And for them, they have like certain things that they need so that they can still be like vegan, vegetarian, that kind of thing. And disability is kind of like similar to that, in that it's just something that you have and that you need things to just be better, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Like if every single restaurant in the world served nuts and you had a nut allergy, that would be very disabling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because we're aware of it and we cater to that, it's not.
Yeah. Is there an assumption of what a disability looks like?
I think the sort of stereotype that comes into people's heads is the little thing you see on a disabled parking space, like someone in a wheelchair. That's what a disabled person looks like, but it really isn't.
Yeah, there's a lot of variation of that.
Yeah, and even with wheelchair users, most of them can walk short distances.
Yeah.
And like I've used one on a couple of occasions, mainly for like blacking out reasons. If you can't stand up, it's a lot easier to just be put in a chair and shoved to wherever you need to go. But then when you stand up, people are like, oh, it's a miracle. No, I was just having issues walking for that period of time.
Yeah. I'd say that like sometimes people assume that if you look different, then you're mentally unwell.
Yeah.
And that's like, it's something that people shouldn't have, and sometimes that's true, but it's not like it shouldn't be like because you look like a certain way that means that you're unwell, like you can't speak for yourself,
assume if you look visibly disabled that you're not capable of like advocating for yourself, or they'll ask your mum about your medical stuff. I'm an adult, I can answer those questions, I know more than she does about it.
Exactly.
What does the university do well in supporting disabled students? There's lifts in most of the buildings. That's good. I do like a nice lift. The disability support people were amazing, really friendly, really kind. The disability mentoring scheme is great as well. It was really helpful to have a person I could talk to every week and deal with that.
Yeah.
How can we make the university a more inclusive place?
Just being more aware of disabilities, and just like I say, like a lot of like places, like maybe having, like I'd say, like the Disability Society, right? I feel like they do a lot of things to like make things make aware of things and like putting things in place and that kind of thing.
I would love it if they did more events and more like meet and greets, because I've not met many other disabled students. So like a board games night would be great.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I think it's already fairly inclusive. Like most people you meet here are really kind.
Yeah, that's what
just like keeping an open mind and being nice to people is the best way to go about it, I think. Yeah, well, this was a really good conversation.
Yeah, it's
been interesting learning about your condition.
And so you too. I'd say like it's not always that you like we get to talk about like disabilities and like a lot around it. So I think this was like very like interesting conversations.